What's going on? Welcome to my horribly messy shop. Just got this 1/4 horsepower Shopfox power feeder for my shaper that's over here that you probably can't see. It's kind of attached to my table saw. Gonna do a little unboxing video. I did open it before just to make sure. We just got some snow and the UPS driver slipped in the side of our yard and dropped it in the street. So I just kind of cracked things open to make sure that it wasn't like broken where I have to send it back, but it looked decent. So let's see what's in this sucker. It's kind of cracked up a little bit, but it's styrofoam, who cares? And this thing's heavy. This is like, I don't know. On the packaging, it says something about over 70 pounds. I think it's like 75 or 85, something like that. I'm gonna look it up online. I'm not really sure. Only reason why I'm really doing this is because I didn't see any videos on any of the shapers, or the shapers, any of the power feeders for shapers, whether that be Shopfox or Grizzly. They've got a little, like a tiny 8 horsepower one. It's like a mini power feeder, but I think to do really anything on a shaper, you'd need something a little bit more heavy duty. But also, I have no idea because I've never used one. Like a weekend warrior, self-taught, YouTube taught woodworker. So, woodworker, wow. Self-taught woodworker. I'm just pulling some stuff out. Now, this is just hardware and some gears and stuff like that. I'm sure I'll have to assemble some things, but I'm just trying to get this thing out to make sure that it's not busted up anywhere. How much you can see from over there, so I'll just kind of tilt this up. It looks like the little T-post, or whatever this is called, is separate from the actual feeder, so let's pull that guy out. Oh! Yeah, that's heavy. It's probably 30 pounds right there, jeez. Set that on my slider, hopefully that doesn't fall off. Guess this is probably officially my first YouTube video. Made like a compilation video a few years ago after I built a humidor. And all I did was just attached a bunch of pictures and it just cycled through like a slideshow, but it's not like an actual video. Let's get some of this plastic out here. Okay. Well, I don't see anything bent up. It's all metal. Looks like there's a little oil reservoir in that, so I wonder if that's something you gotta do is oil these things. I'm trying to set this thing down gently. This is pretty heavy too. Jeez. Oh, right there on the tag it says weight 73 pounds. The rest of this is just styrofoam and junk. So get that out of the way and maybe we can see this thing a little bit better. Pull this. There's like some really thin wood packaging around the styrofoam, I guess just to help kind of keep it somewhat intact, make it a little bit more durable, but and who knows. This has got forward and reverse. Let's see here. Feeds 20, 26, 33, and 43 feet per minute. Like I said before, it's 1/4 horse, and this runs on 120. I don't know what it is about some of these power feeders. I've looked at a lot of power feeders on Marketplace, and it seems like, which I understand, it seems like a lot of these, even if they're 1/4 horsepower, half, 1, doesn't really matter, they all run on 220. And I get it, because I mean, a lot of these things are going to be used in production shops, but you've got that power source, so you wouldn't want to have a reason to get a different power source. Ran to your shaper that's probably a 3, a 5, or 7 horsepower. I don't know. But for me, it's nice. I've got 120 right there above this little air filtration system. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know where the camera's pointed. Yeah, anyways, so There's the power feeder. Here's the posts for it. I'm sure it's got, I don't know, mechanical ways to adjust it. It's got all these little handles and things. I do believe that you'll have to like drill and tap whatever surface you're putting this on. I think Grizzly sells like a little metal frame that you can clamp onto the edge of your tool and then screw this into. But I think what I'm gonna do is what a lot of these things are designed for, is just find a good spot on the table. Like I said, I don't know if you can see it or not. Let me move this camera. Let me see what all you can see. Oh, you can see what I'm looking at. Never mind. You can see the entire shaper. This isn't a big shaper. This is only a 2-horse. It's an old Powermatic. I traded a guy for a huge edge sander that was way too big. Got a 3 horsepower. I've got a 3-car garage. Probably 1.5 cars is for my shop. There's some storage for just general garage things. Just like coolers and chairs and kids' toys and crap like that. Got a couple of fridges, or a fridge and a freezer, I should say. Then my wife parks her car in here, so. It would be cool if I had all 3 cars. I'd have much more space to kind of spread out, but eventually I'll get this guy cleaned up a little bit more, and I can kind of show you how I have a lot of these tools set up. I've got full-size stuff. I got a 15-inch planer, an 8-inch joiner. I've got some cabinetry stuff that I've never even plugged in or turned on that I got for cheap, like a hinge boring machine. I've got a line boring machine, but all of these tools that I have, they kind of share some in-feed and out-feed space. They're stacked on top of each other, so I can just cram a bunch of tools into a small spot. I'm sorry, there's a little bit of a tangent here. I've got a sliding table, full-size sliding table, table saw, outfeed table with a router table built into it, a 2-horsepower shaper, a 15-inch planer, an 8-inch joiner, and a 14-inch bandsaw. I measured it the other day. I think the width that I have, including the slider, it's like 10 feet, which is it to have basically, what is that, 8 full-size cabinet tools? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, I'll call it 7, 6.5, 7 with the slider, because this thing is huge. But yeah, like I said, I'll do a video on that soon enough. If this works. Anyways, back to the whole shaper things. What I want to do, like I said, it looks like there's hardware for it. There's a couple of bolts. Bottom of this, bust that up. There's a flange here that's got 4 bolts, and I'd like to attach it to this part of the shaper, which what they say, there's a spot in the back that's got a panel I can take off, but you drill and tap that to match the threads, obviously, and then you can mount that right there. And then obviously have your power feeder access right next to you. I need to make sure, I don't know if you can see this. This is the on-off switch for the planer. I need to make sure that this T-post, as I use it, won't be in the way if it's moving out this way. Like I said, because I just have so many tools crammed into such a small space, I need to make sure that none of it's in the way. I can't really afford to move the planer that far or that way at all. Its outfeed is actually feeding over the top of the motor on my bandsaw, so they're kind of sharing a footprint. And I can't really shove my joiner any further that way, because then it'll start getting into my walking and working area between my miter saw and that wall. Obviously I can afford to go that way just a little bit. I kind of steal a couple inches here and there when I do some stuff. There is a lot of room on that side. We can walk by my wife's SUV with the doors open. So it's not bad. Anyways, Yeah, this is, this seems, I mean, obviously this is heavy. These aren't exactly like, I'll say big box Home Depot tools, but I think you can actually buy stuff like this from Home Depot on their website. Back in the day, I bought a drum sander from Home Depot. Bought a Jet 2244 using like credit card points, because you could, I think Amex does it. You can transfer points to get Home Depot or Lowe's gift cards. So I just did that for everything for a few years, and then ended up buying a like a $2,000 drum sander, which is nice. I've got a Laguna 2550 now that I found used for a ridiculous price. So I ended up selling my brand new one for this, because this was, I mean, it's in great shape and it got me a few more inches of width. I don't know that I'll be able to put this thing together the next couple of days, because I have so many things going on. It's getting close to Christmas. I'm actually out right now off work. I hit myself in the foot with an axe, splitting wood. So I don't recommend you do that unless you like being bedridden or sleeping on a couch and not working. It's not fun. But I've actually been up and wearing normal footwear for about a week. Like I said, I did that about a month ago. So anyways, I'm gonna plug this thing in and see, just check it out, check the stuff, I don't know, just make sure it works. I don't want a tool that doesn't plug in, so let me get this extension cord hooked up. And then I'll get this plugged in. I don't know how much editing I'm gonna do on this. So I kind of just want to get this video out, so you can just listen to me babble, and eventually I will, I'll have a pretty cool setup like the rest of your guys, like the Wood Whisperer. Cool story about him. He just moved over outside of St. Louis. I live on the Illinois side of St. Louis, so we're like 40 minutes away from him. So I think that's pretty cool to have a pretty big YouTube personality that close to me. I think he does some different classes and courses and things like that. So I will, I'll have to get a hold of Mark and see about doing something, coming over and checking his stuff out. And maybe once I get this place cleaned up, he might come over here. That'd be cool. Okay, let's see if this thing works. I don't really know how to change the speeds on it. I don't see a dial or anything. I just see forward and reverse. Let me look through this really quick. I mean, I guess I'll turn it on. It's not gonna, the wheels are off the floor, yeah, or off the table. Well, it works. Goes forward, goes in reverse. Okay. There's no obvious dials or anything to change the speed. And honestly, once I start looking through the book, that's what these gears might be for. This says it's 24 teeth. That's a 26 tooth sprocket or gear, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so you might have to mechanically get in there. This looks like this little side cover comes off and change some gears around to change the feed rate. That might be it. Like I said, once I get this thing put together, I will, I'll try to make another video on it, showing it mounted, showing it actually work. I'll feed something through the cutter, because obviously, I mean, I need to use it, so I'll have to figure out how to use the shaper. But it looks like this is all pretty well put together. This is how it should look once it's actually done. And I just found something pretty cool on the back of this. There's a drill guide. I like that. Okay, so I will be using that once I figure out on the underside where a good spot is to have that. Looks like it's a sticker. I can put it on there, drill and tap some holes, and we'll be good. So, anyways. Oh yeah, here's a picture of that plate I was telling you about. I'll come around and show it to you. see if I can capture this. Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna be doing. And then on Grizzly's website, it looks like they have a little plate that you can attach and just bolt up to your the wing of your table saw or shaper. Yeah, anyways, that's it.